It contradicts history, such as the crucifixion of Jesus. So this book that claims to be free of errors is full of them. And there's many Muslims in this park that are waking up to this reality. Because the Quran makes the claim that if this book was from any other than Allah, then the non-believers, the Muslims, the Jews, the Christians, they would find many contradictions and errors in it. But the Quran describes the world as flat. It says that sperm is produced between your backbone and your ribs. I don't know about you gentlemen, but if any of you are producing sperm between your backbones and your ribs, you got serious problems and you need to go and see a doctor.
I checked.
You know, it's not true. It really isn't. It says things like it's impossible for a human being to have two hearts, because obviously the author of the Quran never knew about Siamese twins. You know, it says things like, you know, as Ridvan has already said, that the sun sets in a puddle of mud. The hadiths talk about Allah descending from the highest to the lowest heaven to hear the prayers at night and then goes back up in the morning. The problem with that is that only makes sense if you think the earth's flat. You know, there's many errors in the Quran. It doesn't even describe Christian beliefs properly. In the 7th century, Christian beliefs about the Trinity were well known, but the Quran seems to think we believed in 3 gods and that Mary was one of those gods. It contradicts history, such as the crucifixion of Jesus. So this book that claims to be free of errors is full of them, full of them. And there's many Muslims in this park that are waking up to this reality, right? We've got one here, we've got one here, we've got one there. We know about others in the park. The Muslims don't know about some of the others in the park, but we know about some of the others in the park.
I know a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the second thing is that Islam as a religion is deeply unjust. The God that they believe in is a fickle God who decides what he wills to bless who he wants and curse who he wants, just because that's how he decides to do it. And there's no other reason than the fact that he's in charge. That's fickle Pablo Escobar kind of theology. And their Sharia law results in discrimination and persecution against religious minorities. So these are some of the reasons that we offer to Muslims who might be watching this, that you too should be rejecting Islam. So Ridvan, why don't you...
I want to add 2 things here.
Yeah, go on.
So 2 things. One of them is you brought up the ignorance about the religious beliefs of Christians, for example. But along those lines, in chapter 9, verse 30 of the Quran, it very clearly says, and the Jews say Ezra is the son of Allah, or the Jews say Uzair is the son of Allah. Now, I have interacted with a lot of Jews. I have met a lot of Jews, and I'm sure there are some here somewhere. Go and ask them what that means. Go and ask them what exactly that is supposed to mean. Go ask them if they know of any Jew ever who believed that Uzair or Ezra is the son of Allah. Nobody knows what you're talking about. No, I went to Israel to ask this question. Nobody knows what anyone is talking about. So the Quran makes a strange claim there. I'm not sure how exactly that came into existence. Muslims themselves have big trouble explaining that. It might be that that the Jews were trolling Muhammad and Muhammad took it seriously, I don't know. But it says the Jews say Ezra is the son of Allah. This is clearly a false statement. And there is no way to explain it. Muslims struggle to explain it, but they can never really explain it. It is an obvious flaw in the Quran. Another thing about the science aspect to add here, which is a while ago, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, right? I had an interaction with Ali Dawa that went on for several hours. I spent an hour asking him the same question, and he would not answer the question. It was, where does the sun go at night? I asked him this question because in the hadiths, in the authentic hadith, Muhammad clearly says to one of his companions, he says, to Abu Dhar, he says, do you know where this goes, pointing at the sun? Abu Dhar says, Allah and his messenger know best. Muhammad then says it goes and travels until it prostrates itself underneath the throne of Allah and then asks for permission to rise again, upon which Allah gives it permission to rise. but one day Allah will not give it permission to rise, so it will go back from where it came from, and the sun will rise from the west. Now this only works if the sun actually actively travels somewhere.
Yeah.
There is no other explanation to this. So I asked Ali Dawa repeatedly, can you tell me where the sun goes at night? And for an hour, he would not answer the question.
Yeah.
He would not answer the question.
And then you've also got the fact that the Quran, says that Gog and Magog are two peoples that are kept behind a wall. Where is this wall? We've mapped the entire earth.
It's found in the Alexander the Great romance that was made centuries after Alexander the Great and was lingering across the trade route and in Arabia at the time.
Right.
It was common recited. You can buy the book.
The story, yes, but where's the wall? If the Quran is an accurate book and it says Gog and Magog are behind a wall, why can't we find the wall?
The Great Wall of China.
It's like we can all find the Great Wall of China. We can all find Adrian's wall. We can all find Antonia's wall. So where's this Great Wall that hides Gog and Magog? It also says in the Quran. It also says in the Quran that the sun does not overtake the moon and the moon does not overtake the sun. That means that solar eclipses shouldn't happen according to the Quran.
Right.
But yet we all know that solar eclipses do happen because night does overtake day in a solar eclipse, which directly contradicts the plain teaching of the Quran. Do you want to jump in with any more before we move on?
We can move on.
Okay.
I want to say something about what you got.
Right, so why don't you tell us all what led you into atheism?